Bananas.
Hello and welcome to Chatter Cave Podcast, where we, break down and review a movie of my choosing. Just try to have a bit of fun. And today we're celebrating, and the bat's already moved. 50 episodes.
Yeah.
I think we've made it this far.
Here.
Yeah, we're all here.
All here.
James is here. Oh, good, I'm James. We got Connor as well. Oh, big boy. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
We've got
We got
Craig here.
Alex.
Hello, it's me, Kermit the Frog.
What the fuck is Craig like Kermit?
Yeah, what does Craig speak? Why is he saying his name's Kermit?
Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
Oscar the Grouch?
My name's Craig.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be the Dustbin guy?
Mm,
I'm the trash man.
nah.
Anyway,
God, he's homeless.
I'm your host, Ranking Thomas Hughes.
No shit, really. Who'd have thought that this entire time?
50 episodes, and no one knows it's me yet.
No, I thought you was Hayden. I'm not gonna lie.
No, Hayden's the other one.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was Thomas Hughes.
No, that's Hayden.
You got,
No.
you got,
He's got a lazy.
Wait.
He's got a lazy eye, hasn't he?
Shush.
remember, he's a bit slow as well.
Is that off? You know what it is? He drank before recording. That was it.
I
He's an
didn't drink
alcoholic.
much.
You realise, Alex? I can insert evidence right here.
It's not much that I've drunk.
I can
It's not like that
insert
one-
evidence right here.
It's not like that one time I drank an entire bottle of wine before recording.
I mean,
Yeah,
we
but-
have to bet 2 recordings because you were too drunk.
Yeah, but Alex, you drank 5 bottles before this, though.
Yeah,
Like, you were necking them down.
yeah. I could just I could just do a montage of them, even if it's the same clip. It's just a montage of you drinking the same bottle over and over again.
To me, it's like glug 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 glug. glug,
No,
glug,
it's the exact same movements, the exact same look.
What I'll do, Tom,
Very interesting.
I'll edit the bowl inside when you're just doing the miming of it. It looks like he is an alcoholic.
Keep inserting different looking bottles.
glug.
Yeah. Oh, that was a bit of vodka. Oh, a bit of sambuca there.
Anyway, Alex is here as well. Geeky Bear.
I've got death inside of my eyes.
Because
Also, your brain.
today we're discussing Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Or, as we're later changed in a few cinemas to Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. Or, if you're IMDb, simple title of Birds of Prey.
Or that one with Harley Quinn in it.
It's got loads of titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the one that with all the women in.
And that's fucking a bunker nubby.
The movie tries to introduce us to the famous team of female heroes, or while mainly just trying to give us more Harley. Which, isn't a bad thing, since, she's the main draw for most of people to this movie. Yeah,
She's their way of introducing those other characters, basically.
but
Yeah.
badly in my opinion.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
they underdeveloped Birds of Prey completely.
No, it's basically a Harley Quinn movie
Yeah.
with the extra slice of life.
Yeah. The movie is directed by Kathy Yan, who's only ever directed one movie prior to this, and that's a movie called Dead Pigs.
Oink oink.
Yeah. Okay. Let's give some early thoughts
Mhm.
for this movie, and I think it is a very fun movie. It has its moments when it's comedy value, because obviously it does do a Deadpool situation of breaking the fourth wall and stuff. So obviously they rode on that. That's weird, because obviously 2016 Suicide Squad tried to ride on Deadpool's success. That's why they reshot a lot of it, and then this does the same with the fourth wall. Ignore that. But I say it is a fun movie. Obviously the acting is good. The action sequences are very unique because of the set pieces. Harley, as always, standout, hilarious, great acted by Margot Robbie. Fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi there for, being quite gay at times, even though he doesn't. He's just subtly, yeah, fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi. So you know. But yeah, overall, I do think it is a solid movie. I'm slightly annoyed over the fact that they underdeveloped the Birds of Prey. Literally, this could have just been a Harley Quinn movie, and they were just thrown in, and maybe not even built the Birds of Prey. They just were as extra characters. But I do feel like it very underdeveloped that group, which deserves its own recognition. Heck, Batgirl wasn't even in the movie, and Batgirl's a founding member of the Birds of Prey in the comics.
Not anymore.
Heck, fucking Renee's not even in the comic adaptation of Birds of Prey. She's literally just like a Jim Gordon style of cop.
Yeah.
She's literally just added into this movie as a Birds of Prey member, even though she's not in the comics, which, fair enough, if they did develop the character good, which they didn't.
Yeah, I think it's more of like they needed a character for the police, a character connected to the Diamond, and a character connected to the to Obi-Wan Kenobi, and those three obviously made the most sense, I guess.
So does that make Harley Quinn part of the Birds of Prey then?
No,
Or-
because she fucked up before they joined
Yeah.
officially. Because they were obviously this little group, but it was obviously not till like, later on when she's narrating that they actually did form the Birds of Prey.
Okay.
Which, to be fair, though, I like the fact obviously they went with the comic accurate type costume for Huntress at the end. But I gotta say, I prefer her first costume.
True.
And with the hood, it looks
Yeah.
a lot cooler. I think it looks a bit. I think it's. Do you know when you look at some like comic book like adaptations when they put costumes in other like an accurate sort of portrayal of it from the comics, sometimes it just looks really weird and doesn't suit it. I see that with the Huntress costume at the end. It kind of just fits in weirdly. Especially when you look at the other two characters that are dressed basically normal, and there's her in this fucking like visor that's like fucking goes across, and it's an okay costume. It just doesn't fit as well as her other costume did, which was nicer.
Yeah. But that wasn't the Huntress then. That was the crossbow killer.
But if you listen to her, she was the Huntress because she swears constantly of, "I am the Huntress."
Oh, the fucking don't. But I like to think that she's that extra. She wanted like this extravagant costume, and they were like, "We're just gonna put some jackets on."
Well, she is
Yeah,
kind of
that's
crazy if you
alright.
think about it, for the fact that
Yeah.
she literally says it in front of the mirror over and over again that I'm the Huntress. So, you know, it shows how crazy she is.
They built up the character as quite an extra character who likes to like basically be a kind of Batman.
What can you say? Childhood trauma.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. She does have a dead parent vibe, but I mean, to think about it,
The parents gang, woo!
obviously, something I'll bring up again later on when I'm talking about something else, but obviously, her character, out of all of them, is obviously the only one that's really built up other than Harley and sort of Black Mask. Because if you think about it, obviously, Canary, they obviously just like, oh yeah, she's a singer here. I know she's working with the cops, yada yada. But it's never really developed, obviously, to how she was in that situation or whatnot. And obviously, Renee just like, oh, I've been working this case for 6 months, but it's never explained what got her into the case in the first place. And it's never explained, obviously, what she's like fully invested in this for. Obviously, she's doing it because she's a good cop, she's a good person at the end of the day. But it's never really explained to why. But
Yeah,
as
they
a
could've done,
hundred,
like a flashback kind of thing, couldn't they?
There was
I like-
some subtle moments of like trying to explain that.
yeah, but it never really
Yeah.
explained it, did it?
Because her original partner took credit for all of her hard work. I think the whole point is she keeps trying to like prove herself that she's the one that's capable of doing all this stuff, whereas it keeps getting undermined. So that was like a subtle way of doing it.
Yeah.
Out for like, this is what she's doing it for.
See, that's obviously something I'll bring up later on when I obviously give my question. There's obviously a whole explanation of something which I think would have been a nicer way of doing this build up to this movie. But I'll get to that later. But I mean, say Huntress the only one that's actually explained anything, because it eventually explains that obviously they say dead parents and shit, and it gives her a reason to want to be this vigilante. So it does explain all that, and that bit's fine for me. That bit's perfectly fine. It's just like some of the other characters for me deserved a bit more development. But as you say, essentially, for the fact that the large part of this movie's title literally is about Harley, apart from this little three words here, it makes sense, obviously, it being fully focused on Harley, which I feel like they definitely could have done it as a solo Harley film instead.
Yeah, they could have just done a Harley Quinn, like, her own film, because it would have been... It wouldn't have mattered, really. Like,
Exactly.
The Prey being in there or not.
Exactly.
The film was strong enough on its own.
Or they could have gone with the original idea what they were going to do before they like scrapped it completely, which was Gotham City Sirens, which is only 3 characters they need. Obviously Harley, which you've already developed mostly already, and then Catwoman and Poison Ivy.
That one.
Oh, yes.
Because that was the original. After Suicide Squad, David Ayer was attached to directing that movie, so obviously he was going to carry on after Suicide Squad. But then obviously, you know, fuck in the sense of, you know, as someone I was watching recently said, it was a $700 million mess. It made fucking loads of money, but obviously it just didn't strike it with critics. Whereas this movie, on the other hand, striked it with critics, but didn't reach its amount it needed. it only made 200 million at the box office, and apparently it needed to make 300 to break even. And obviously, though Shazam didn't make much either, that barely just made over 300. It still made like a profit of, I think, from what I was reading, 74 million or something like that, which is obviously why the sequel was made. Or sorry, being made. It's not was made. It's currently in development. But I mean, that was announced instantly after, like, even actually, I think it might have been just before the first film came out. Whereas there's been no announcement whatsoever about anything. All we know is obviously Harley's going back to the Suicide Squad, which hopefully they'll explain how she goes back there, because how this movie ends.
The kid.
Yeah, she's got the
kind of retired.
Yeah, so it's hopefully they explain how she goes from that back to that, because obviously this does explain the fact that obviously reminding people, Joker broke her out at the end of Suicide Squad. That's why obviously she's here now. And the fact that they broke up, and this is why she's doing what she does. So I'm hoping Suicide Squad does it, even if it's just a subtle explanation like it did with this. Like, so, she was doing her stuff, what yada yada. She went on to like some sort of job, and it turns out it was just a con, and Waller basically captured her again, sort of situation. Yeah. Hopefully it does explain that, because it'd be a bit weird if it's just like, she's here now. What was that? What was that? Birds of Prey?
Or she got so drunk she accidentally like tried to break into it and got caught again.
Let me back in. I want to come back in.
or the kid the kid betrayed her or something.
Oh, like she did to her.
Yeah.
Or she was after a sandwich.
Yeah, or maybe they had the sandwich in there.
The sandwich.
That whole plot point of the sandwich, though, it's just like, what the fuck?
It's both the best romance in any film and the best death of any film.
Whoa. Come on. Sam Jackson and The Rock and other guys.
No. You don't know. They survived.
Oh, did they? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It happened off camera, and it was all like...
did they say cut and they got back up?
They faked their own deaths, basically.
Yeah.
What if... Hear me out here. What if the sandwich faked its own death? And that sandwich at the end was the same sandwich.
I know what happened.
She just put the sandwich back together.
I know.
It's a fucking surgery. Clear!
That's what happened, yeah. The Rock, when he jumped off, he didn't like fall completely. What happened was the wizard in Shazam got him, and he got turned to Black Adam. Whereas Sam Jackson fell through a portal through like a different universe and ended up in the Marvel universe and became Nick Fury.
It all makes sense now.
It does all make sense.
Only one of his eyes survived. The other one went.
Ooh.
Yeah, the cat was just like in the portal as well.
Yeah.
Stretched it.
This is all starting to make actual sense to me now.
It's amazing that we're talking about other guys, because that was the first podcast I was in.
Exactly. Yeah, we're celebrating everything we've done.
Yeah.
If you noticed that I haven't actually like I'm just give up my structure now. We're just ranting on. That's the easiest way to do this from now on. Just rant. Even though I was saving like this new structure for the 51st one, next week's one, I feel like to celebrate 50, we gotta go all out. Do something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got James here. We got Connor, as you said. Craig's joined us for the first time ever.
Yeah, it's me, Craig and James.
Craig the Frog.
Craig the Frog.
But yeah, obviously, other than like Harley coming out of this, I feel like Hugh McGregor's performance as Black Mask is one of the strong things that's like stayed with me after this movie. Though he's like literally straight up arsehole character. The fact that he literally just has his like mate cut people's faces off for a living.
Yeah.
And he just kills anyone he wants to get power and shit. He's still this character. Well, yeah. You didn't hear that on camera from me. He's still that character, obviously, because Black Mask in the comics and even the game universe is this big, massive deal. He's essentially like a sort of Falcone type character. This obviously gangster who's in charge of everything, sort of situation, runs Gotham, and obviously when you start watching it, obviously Hugh McGregor's like flamboyant side is completely different to that of Black Mask usually, because you literally you're sort of more sinister, eerie. But I think it massively works thanks to Hugh McGregor. And it does upset me the fact obviously they offed him off at the end, because there's so much they could do with Black Mask in other iterations.
Did he die?
He went you saw his legs and everything fly off him, didn't you?
Oh, never mind.
Didn't you see like his entire body
I know.
explode?
I just saw the explosion and didn't see anything
You
else.
saw his legs and arms and everything fly away.
But I'll be sure that was him, or there could be a new new incarnation of him, of the Black Mask.
No, someone to take over the mantle, like they're pissed
Yeah.
off.
Or
Maybe.
we just see his Jedi ghost appear and start like talking to Harley.
Or they retcon
Harley,
it with
use the
Flash.
Force.
Because
Because
Well,
Flash
because
could-
the Flash is going to have a flashpoint, isn't it?
type of Flashpoint, yeah. It's like it's changing it from obviously what it is, but like obviously because the fact that though this was critically, as I say, successful, it wasn't financially. Which partially it is because of COVID, but it's also partially because there's another film that came out like a week after this that shocked everyone to being so good, which is Sonic. So obviously, it was competing at that level for like I think about a month before obviously all cinemas started shutting down. So obviously there is that aspect of it. They I think they put it out the wrong time, essentially, because there's obviously competition and obviously COVID, which is obviously I think obviously though, as I said, though Shazam wasn't as successful as they probably envisioned it, they put it out at the perfect time because there was nothing out at the time. Though obviously Endgame was out at the end of the month, there was fuck all out at the start of the month of April, which affected it.
It gave it a perfect time for like
all
superhero.
All that was
movies
out. Obviously, yeah, because the hype going into Endgame, people are like, oh, superheroes, let's watch this. But I mean, literally, the only films coming out, were out at that time was Hellboy, which obviously was a disaster. Pet Sematary, which wasn't bad, but obviously it's a remake, so not a lot of people give a shit.
Apart from the hardcore fans.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was a decent film. I think there was another film out, but I can't remember off the top of my noggin. But yeah, obviously it wasn't anything major competition wise. People are like, oh yeah, let's go and watch this. Whereas obviously, as I say, this, not just the fact, obviously, Sonic was out. Like I think it literally was a week later. It was still the box office was still riding on Bad Boys for Life because that was still going strong, which I think it went fucking really high up in terms of money wise. That film did.
Yeah, it was in the cinemas for a good while as well.
I can't remember. It was close to $1 billion, if I remember correctly. That film went on for quite a bit because it was obviously it's the idea of no one's seen the Bad Boys since obviously the early 2000s, so it's that hype of let's go watch this film. And obviously that is probably another reason why this film did suffer because it was literally wedged in between competition essentially.
That and how they marketed it.
Yeah, I remember the first trailer I showed kind of though the first it was interesting to watch the first trailer. It was quite unique. Obviously, it wasn't marketed well. I know it didn't make that much. I thought it was close to $1 billion. No, it didn't. It made 430-ish million. Nowhere near what I thought it made. It's how they said it was making it sounded like it was making like that close to $1 billion. Apparently, it didn't. Apparently, she was like 430, which still is good for a $90 million movie. Whereas this is I think 150-ish. Something like that, but as I say, we need 300 to make a profit, and it didn't make a profit.
Which is a shame.
As I said, they could sort of retcon a lot of stuff with Flash, so they could keep a lot of aspects of this movie, but then actually do it properly in the sense of solo Harley film, solo Birds of Prey movie. Don't intertwine them like this.
What if, though, we've already seen the results of the Flashpoint films? Think about it. What if the Flashpoint ones changed the theatrical release of Justice League to Snyder's one?
So you're saying we're living in the Flashpoint right now?
Maybe.
Well, technically, he's talking to Snyder. He stated this movie's in his universe.
Yeah.
This rendition of Gotham is part of his universe, apparently.
I mean, so what if? Because what if the original what if we've already seen it? Oh.
Well, it did happen in a TV show, so you know it could have affected everything else.
For fuck's sake, Hayden.
What?
Nothing.
You okay, Alex?
Are you okay? Are you okay, Alex?
Yes, I'm okay. I'm okay, Thomas.
Yeah, look it.
Oh. But yeah, I still think other than Harley, Black Mask and Huntress are probably the obviously more
Yeah.
developed characters that come out of this. But I will say there's a petition online for Black Canary to get her own like HBO Max spin-off series, which I would agree with, because I would like to see this version develop a bit more, because obviously it's a bit different to, well, sorry, it's a lot different to the comic rendition, because obviously the comic version of Canary is white.
And it's also a lot different to the DC Flash, like the DC Arrowverse,
Yeah.
Black Canary, because there's
Which
also
one?
a rendition.
There was obviously the Canary, which was
There's Laurel
Laurel,
Lance.
which was the Canary.
Yeah.
And then you got
Sarah Lance, which is the White Canary,
Yeah.
and then you got Dinah Lance. Dinah, what's the last name? It's not Lance.
Dinah Drake.
I think it might be that. Yeah, she obviously is the Black Canary, and then you got Laurel Lance again, Black Siren. So you got multiple versions, which because obviously they had more time to develop that character. Obviously, they can give like so many episodes just that character. So obviously they developed that right, and that's why I feel like with that version, the TV version, for the fact that it felt natural, her transition from essentially a lawyer to a vigilante. Whereas this version, it's just like 1 minute she's a singer, the next minute she's a vigilante. There's no like real like full definition like development.
No.
It's just really quick and fast.
Yeah, so it goes from more a singer to a bodyguard to a vigilante. Really,
exactly. So it's obviously it's not fully fleshed out. So I would like to see flesh her character out a bit more.
Yeah,
because
and use a powerful.
Exactly.
All she saw was a kid on the stairs, and she's just like, "Shit, this kid's got a diamond in her. Got a diamond. She's gonna die. I'm gonna kick ass."
That's another character that obviously wasn't developed like properly. Was the kid, for the fact that there's obviously this whole like, it's clearly obviously she's obviously pickpocketing that because home life is bad, but it's something it's never like explained fully why it's like this.
All we know is that she's in a foster home. That's it.
Exactly.
And that she's been kidnapped by Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
that too.
You did see her like at the roller rink when Hardy was doing.
Watching. Stealing.
Yeah.
Stealing that person's wallet, was it, from the back pocket?
Yeah.
I love that. She's so stealthy with everyone, and yet she can't fucking creep up on Black Canary properly. She just like straight up just like walks up and goes, "Yeet!" She's like, "Hey, don't steal that." She's like, but then she goes and fucking steals fucking the ring from the diamond from from Zaz so fucking easy. She's just like, yeah, it's mine. But
it wasn't together.
Even I just love the fact she's so stealthy with everyone except Black Canary. She just clearly just like walks up. No sort of like, oh, that's really nice. Like, she with the old woman. She's like, those earrings are so good. Yeet. She just like walks up and just like, but doesn't, because obviously fucking Black Canary's like, whoa, get out of here, kid.
But I think Black Canary was also like, I know you. I've seen what. Yeah.
I know you're a thief.
Yeah.
But I will say I do like Canary's rendition on the power in this. Because though obviously it's not referred to as a like Canary Cry like it is in like the comics and shit, it was quite good. To be fair, it was a lot more like stronger than the TV rendition, because the TV rendition is usually like just like a small like point and aim sort of situation.
But with this one, it's just like literal same place.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think it's showing that she's like not got full control of it.
Yeah, that's why she doesn't do it.
Just like cover your ears.
It weakened her. Like, she was very
she fainted after.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a big clear example of she not used that much.
Well, she doesn't, does she? Really? She like hits the high notes, but that's about it.
Exactly. Because if you think about it, in the TV rendition as well, Laurel has the thing.
The collar.
Yeah, it's just the collar, and even obviously Dinah, she uses the collar to sort of like help.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just
isolate it. Yeah, she's obviously the full natural one. As I said, Dinah is a meta still, but it's just obviously she uses the collar to isolate it a bit better. But obviously this rendition is more natural.
And the comic has a choker that's used to like help amplify it, or at least direct it.
Yeah, or else it's like this, like massive, and it takes all the energy out of you.
So we'll see how it happens.
Right then, so you know why we're here, right? It's not the Birds of Prey. We're here to talk about Harley, okay?
Yeah.
Because obviously, 2016 was the last time we saw Margot Robbie's Harley, who was in the Suicide Squad, and we all know she's the standout star of that movie. You had a few good other characters, but she was the standout. She's the one that drove everyone in going, this character. You know, not because of the acting at the time, but more the body situation. But this time, you actually get to see her act a lot more. It's less focused on the the body aspect because it's not skimpy outfits anymore. It's actual, like for example,
look on the case, the CD case.
There's that, but I mean, I'm looking at the one when she's in a onesie, the Funko Pop when she's in a onesie. Obviously, like it's less like developed on obviously the body. It's more developed this time on the acting, and Margot Robbie shines again.
Oh
and she's just badass, and I'm very much looking forward to Suicide Squad's rendition. See obviously how it develops her a bit more, because this obviously the first Suicide Squad was just there to introduce them, not give you too much information. It's like she was a doctor, yada yada. Joker got to her, she's now this. Whereas this version actually obviously they develop her as Harley itself. Like to the start, literally gives you that backstory of, oh yeah, my dad sold me for like a pack of booze. I kept coming back, got put in an orphanage, yada yada. Then obviously does what Suicide Squad did, explaining the whole Joker situation. It's like then Suicide Squad happened, and now I'm here, and he kicked me out, and doesn't want me anymore. And that body double definitely is Jared Leto.
Totally.
Yes, totally Jared Leto. But I mean, it obviously this is where she does shine, and as we stated, obviously with the rest being undeveloped, they were able to put so much development into her and showcase why she is the only sort of rendition of Harley you can see, really. Because though Kaylee, is it Kyoko, the one from the TV series, though she is good as the animated Harley, when it comes to the physical look, even that rendition sort of goes for a type of Margot Robbie vibe in its look.
Yeah.
So
definitely,
you literally can. It's kind of like the Iron Man situation of it's a character that's definitely difficult to.
Tony Stark.
It's definitely
Tony C.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Robert Downey Jr. It's such a character that's difficult to recast now. You literally can't recast her without thinking, oh, Margot Robbie was Harley Quinn. She was really good as Harley Quinn. You know, Margot Robbie, she was Harley Quinn. That sort of situation.
It's like how you cannot unsee Chris Evans as Captain America now, even though he was Human Torch beforehand. And
I don't know. Every time I see him, all I can see is the one with the pie in his crotch.
But I mean, like even when you see that, there you think that's Captain America. That is still America's ass, though. So
yeah, that's literally all I think of when I see America's ass. It's like that's America's ass.
Hard not to see Chris Hemsworth as
for
like him in Men in Black with Valkyrie was like
that film literally is just a ride on Thor Ragnarok success, and it didn't. Though it was fun to watch them, it just didn't ride, and they just went. That's the thing with a lot of studios. They try and ride on success of other franchises. Like obviously, they say Men in Black with that idea. This with Deadpool essentially, and Suicide Squad at the same time, which makes sense. Suicide Squad for the fact that she was in that, but obviously they tried to ride on the Deadpool situation, which I find it funny. And of all the sort of Alex, I know you got your finger up. Hold on, it's funny because if you think about it, a lot of like DC things, as you stated many times when we've been recording, Hayden, is the fact that they tried to ride on Disney's success of stuff. They tried to go for the more comical, the more like light-hearted approach, like trying to ride on Disney's success. It's very humorous that they tried to ride on 20th Century Fox's success. And Steed not known for its great superhero movies at times. So it's funny that they obviously that is obviously their epitome. That Logan and Days of Future Past, those are the epitome of that saga. But I mean, it's funny that he's very difficult. It's like trying to say, they're trying to ride on the success of the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
I like the first one. We don't talk about the second one, but I like the first one.
To clarify, you should have met Amazing Spider-Man here, not Deadpool, because
I love Deadpool.
Both are good.
Both of them good. But Amazing Spider-Man, I only like the first one.
Yeah.
We don't talk about the second one.
Yeah. Alex, you had your finger up.
Yeah.
Let's make him ass.
I shaved my balls for this.
What?
I'm surprised you just didn't shout it out loud rather than it's like the most like awkward silence of waiting. Like, come on, what's he gonna say? And then he says that.
Yeah.
What's so annoying is that my earphones at the exact same time went out a bit, so I couldn't hear what he said.
Perfectly planned.
He did the quote. He did the quote that he put in the chat yesterday, and then you fucking copied it and then put it in the other chat, and it was like, Alex, you're okay. What are you on about this for? I was expecting some like intellectual comment, and he's like, "I shave my balls." And I was like, "Okay, I know I asked you to say it at some point, but still." Yeah, can you show us, please? We just want to clarify you have shaved them and start bullshitting the audience.
Get those big boys out.
Here you go. It's nicely unshaved.
It's a bit red. Did you shave a bit? Did you shave a bit too close to the skin?
I did, yeah. I guess doctors that.
Just a tiny bit too close, you know.
The other bit's white as well, so that's a bit.
It might be leaking.
Yeah, I think your ball sack's leaking sperm, which is ironic because this movie starts with a sperm joke.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, a bit too far. I'll go forward a bit.
I think it's Harley.
Yeah. But I think that the production of this film is spot on, as usual it is with DC. I like the funhouse fight at the end. That sort of setting is very unique. It's obviously you don't really see something like that.
You wouldn't think of it.
Yeah,
last fight
and it is really like there's a lot within that. It's quite good. The little slide at the start when they're sliding down. And that guy like slides down after him, and Huntress has to obviously hold herself and jump on top of him and stab the shit out of him. Obviously, that's quite a unique kill. And then obviously they go into the actual thing where there's like a lot of spinning around. There's a fucking hand that slaps someone, which is quite funny. Reminds me of sort of Jackass. The Jackass when the fucking big hand, the foam hand, when they keep smacking people in the butt through. It reminded me of that situation. And then you got all the other sort of things in there. Yeah, obviously that one thing that Huntress jumps on as well. That weird like. I don't know what the fuck it was. You know what I'm on about.
Seesaw kind of thing-ish.
Yeah, there's like multiple of them, isn't it? She keeps jumping on all of them. That was... I don't know what to call it. But I like with that as well, the fact that Harley, as this pointing out, when the hell did she have time to change her shoes? Yeah. Because she's like, puts her rollerblades on, she's just fucking fighting with shit. I like the uniqueness as well with the weapon choices, because obviously they bring back the iconic bat from Suicide Squad, but they also bring the sort of iconic mallet she has in like the comics and that.
Yeah, I was going to say the mallet's mainly...
She holds that mallet in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, at one point, she opens the chest and she pulls it out, but then she goes for the bat instead. Which she does in this film as well, earlier on in the police station.
It's a metal bat.
Yeah, when she's obviously there's like a chainsaw, there's all these other weapons.
Callback.
Yeah, the callback of, baseball bat, this'll do. And that's another... But yeah, no, you have your show. I mean, you got the mallet before. But I mean... I like the police station fight as well, because that's another unique thing.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously there's probably plenty of times you've seen like a fight in a police station. But I mean, the idea of her hiding behind cocaine and just breathing it in to then beat the living crap out of everyone because she's high as a kite is very unique.
It's also nice how to show the pupil dilation as well.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well done.
But I like the thing as well with that fight, the beard when she gets the lighter. You just like, okay, what's she gonna do here? She's got no. You expect like some sort of spray can, like a flamethrower. You're like, okay, she hasn't got anything but the lighter. She lights the guy's beard on fire. It's like,
I'm just like, well, I'm not going to get any fire with my beard.
Because I was waiting for the light to fuck up because it wasn't working at first. I was waiting for the shit situation. You know, the classic sort of thing when you try to blow something up in a movie and the lighter won't work. You're like, oh crap, and someone has to come in with like a massive torch or something. It's like, I got it. I was waiting for that sort of situation, but no, she just lights it and just lights this guy on fire through his beard, which is quite funny to watch.
Yeah, I like that as well, though, because the whole point is obviously, with most films, whenever someone uses a lighter, it's always on first try, because that's not really how they work, because you tend to have that moment where you're taking it and it gets on. I like how that happens to her. But I think the reason why the beard set on fire, I think the guy used a lot of like hairspray.
Yeah, probably. Imagine if it's like a little flashback when she's about to light it. It's like shows him like a mirror.
I look good.
I'm gonna look gorgeous while killing people today. And then it cuts back to him and goes, yeah, this is why. I regret the hairspray.
I also like that during the movie you see like all these different people who are after Harley, and then you see like why they're after her.
Yeah, that's clearly inspired by Suicide Squad's roll call at the start. Literally, the fucking bit with Black Mask when he turns around and the mask on and everything, and all the writing on that is clearly inspired by the Suicide Squad intros. Which fair enough, because that was amazing in that film, and
that's such a Harley Quinn kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's very cool in this as well. I just love the bit with Black Mask. Literally, when you see like the entire film is normal, and then that one scene just turns around, and he's got the mask, and you're like, that's quite cool. That is.
It was quite like good about her narrating the entire film, like Deadpool, but you put more onto that. But I like the idea that while that's happening, to put our own different spin on what's basically we're seeing, and we learn little how her mind works, really, which is fucking crazy. That's the whole point.
I got a question for you. It's not a question of their situation, it's just a question. Do you think if this film came out before Deadpool, it would have been a bit more successful because it did the narrating shit?
Yeah, I think because Deadpool came off quite unique, but because this is quite like Deadpool, if it came first, this one would seem as a more unique one. And I think Deadpool would still
I reckon that would have done even better than it did.
Yeah,
they would have seen this situation of this sort of 4-4 breaking shit. That's quite unique, and Deadpool's an actual character that does it throughout the comics and the cartoons and everything. So I reckon that would have been more successful.
Deadpool.
Yeah, like a more action-packed first Brother's Day Off.
Basically, yeah.
Which is why I've seen the end of Deadpool, the end credit scene. They mimic it, don't they?
Exactly. They do the whole it's like dressing gowns like, oh, you're still here? Oh. To think 3 films Conjuring to stay into the end credits, Deadpool, fucking Spider-Man: Homecoming, and this.
But that's what I like, though.
Yeah.
I like when they cut because they play on what everyone expects to happen, don't they?
So what I will say as well with this, even though obviously the characters I've stated are underdeveloped at times, some of them, I do like they all get their moment to shine within the fight sequences. So obviously you got them all shining at different points in this crazy finale situation. Early on, you got the alleyway fight where Black Canary beats up those essentially rapists. She gets a spotlight there, which is obviously why she gets the bodyguard gig. So she gets a spotlight there. Renee's throughout just killing people constantly.
Yeah, ruined her life basically.
Renee's
it's not a bow, it's a crossbow, no fucking child.
Renee's is more within the end sequence itself, but even she's not the spotlight of that end fight scene. That's obviously why I'm annoyed. Obviously, they've got this character that it's just there. I feel like they literally needed that development on her to get you to care about her, because you literally can't really give a shit about her other than the fact that she's getting basically just shunned at work. Everyone's saying they've done stuff, it's not theirs, it's actually hers. That's the only part you can sort of go, okay, they've been a bit of a dick about that. She's done the work, she deserves the credit. That's the only time you can really care for it. Other than that, you can't really care for much for the fact that she killed Hardy Sandwich.
Yeah, you pretty much just a
generic. Yeah, she's kind of at times a generic cop.
Yeah.
Well, she did. I
do joke about that.
Yeah. How she watched all the 80s cop shows. And that's basically where she gets all her dialogue from.
Yeah. Another fight scene I want to sort of bring up is the bit before the actual evidence locker bit, the one that's obviously her going through the police station up until the jail cell shit. Yeah. That is so bright and colourful with the constant colour change for the fact that it looks like beanbags at first, but then obviously it's all fucking paint and gas canisters in this fucking shotgun, whatever the fuck it is.
A mixture.
Yeah,
it's the sparkle grenades, the smoke bombs, which are coloured.
Yeah, purple, pink, yada yada. But yeah, it's quite unique of a fight sequence.
I think I know why they did that, because obviously Holly's supposed to be the protagonist of the film, so they wanted to make it at least not look as bad by not making it actually kill the police, but be more of just
even though at the end when fucking Renee's quitting her job, you see a guy with an eye patch because clearly she injured a guy in their eye too much.
Yeah, she injured them, but she didn't kill them. I think that's what they tried to do, make it look not as bad, basically.
I never spotted it the first time I watched it, but when I watched it yesterday, I literally when she's putting the glass on, she's walking through. There's actually a guy standing in the background. He's got an eye patch on, so clearly she fucking shot him in the eyeball. I was like, oh, I didn't notice that before. It's quite funny. So she injured someone there. But yeah, I get the point you're getting across. Obviously, they're showing off that she's not a bad. She is bad, but she's not
anti-hero, basically.
Yeah. She's anti-hero, but she's no Deadpool that just goes shoots and cuts people in two.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I mean, I just love the colouring of the scene. It looks so fucking. It highlights. It's there to like put full highlight around her because everything around her is colourful, which is what I like with the Suicide Squad trailer. The bit when the flowers and all that are flying behind her, that sort of thing highlights this character.
Can we also talk about Harley's hyena?
Oh, obviously, fucking Bruce the hyena, and his best friend, the beaver.
Yep.
That's a beaver. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, I do like how she talks to the beaver.
Yeah, it's a bit woohoo.
I'm just
Right?
But I mean, the fucking CGI on Bruce is fucking spot on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He literally looks like a real hyena.
He's great. Best
weird,
boy.
I like it.
What you're missing is the second hyena now, and you got the set.
Oh my god, yeah.
And then she just needs to dye their
Oh
hair.
my god, if she doesn't get another one, call it Dick. Seriously.
Oh, Grayson.
Oh, because like calling it Bruce and Dick, because obviously Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
But I can't wait for the show where Harley Quinn sleeps with Dick Grayson.
Well, she can't, 'cause he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead in this universe at the moment.
He's dead.
Until the retcon stuff, he's dead in this universe.
Oh.
Because in BVS, there's the statue of Robin's outfit with "Jokes on You."
Yeah, and
in Suicide Squad, that Joker straight up. Suicide Squad. Sorry, Justice League. Joker straight up references at the end of that is like, orphan boy, ha ha ha, killed him. Question is though,
what about the other ones?
Yeah, if he murdered. No, we're not going to go into that because it's not part of this movie. We talk way too much about other shit.
Yeah.
So I'll bring us back to another scene which is quite cool, which is the scene Mark Bay would be proud of, which is the slow-mo jail cell fight. There's a lot of slow-mo in there. It just misses a few explosions on the head hit the floor.
Megan Fox.
But I do like the choreography in that. It looks good.
Yeah.
Wasn't that when we did say they randomly recast the one character as Megan Fox running away?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Said, just don't need the little girl to be Megan Fox running away.
Just a random. Yeah, I remember now. But I think that overall the action is unique compared to a lot of superhero movies.
Yeah. And I like how the end fight. Sorry, I know we're talking about that fight, but
sorry.
Talk about anything you want.
I like how it doesn't focus on one person and like
jumps between
depending on and the camera will swing round to the person who's like just walked in like the scene fighting, and it'll focus on them now. So it's fluent, and it just shows that it's a non-stop fight, and everyone is still fighting, and it's not just a focus on camera. Everyone's just like, oh, okay, no, they're all fighting, even like in the background and everything. Even like just protecting the girl. Okay.
Yes, well done. So if you are talking about anything, so that scene in Dora.
No, we're not talking about Dora. Fuck's sake, we're not bringing every podcast up for this.
You said talk about anything.
Not that one. The one that's the exact same length as a fucking movie. Hashtag never letting Hayden host the show again.
What about the Ben 10 films?
I ain't trusting. If you can be good, I will trust you.
Okay, that's a bit of an ask.
Exactly. That's why I can't trust you.
It's a bit of an ask.
But I like the car chase as well in this. The fact they utilise the rollerblades. Because you see, I mean, it's like, are they going to utilise this? And I like the fact they utilise the canary cry as the reason she zooms away, but then gets knocked off instantly and has to tee up the Huntress, which obviously brings Huntress back into the folders. The one on the motorbike.
See, I don't understand why they didn't just get the Huntress to just chase them down anyway.
They wouldn't look so cool. Because
the name of the movie isn't Huntress and the Birds of Prey with Harley Quinn involved, is it? It's Birds of Prey and that massive fuck off title which basically says the movie's all about Harley Quinn.
No, the background.
Well, she's not just the centre of attention on the cover.
Well, she's in the middle. Yeah, she's kind of like
center of attention.
Yeah, the other characters are like. I love the ones that they slightly develop, they put next to her, and the ones that done fuck all with the put at the ends. It's like they organised it correctly on the cover.
They're just like, you focus on this one, and then them two, and then fuck the other two.
You got
any editing thoughts, Hayden, at all?
Oh, there's actually stuff to talk about. The main thing is just that there's the words in the titles they've done. Obviously, when they explain each character their grievances and stuff like that. Then there's obviously the fact that it's not a linear story. It switches times, and a lot of times, obviously when there's a bit where obviously when she's taken over the police, it's explaining how she got here, and explains obviously her being caught by Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So it's a very quite a unique way they've sequenced it. So the whole point is getting you hooked on the action. How the hell did we get here? I'll show you how we got here. Back to the action. And it's quite fun. And obviously as well, there's the little animation.
With the star, yeah.
Yeah. I thought the animation was quite well done.
Yeah.
It was very fluent.
Yeah,
and
it's quite cartoony.
Yeah, it's even more cartoony than the cartoon.
Wait, it's very Harlequin.
Yeah, basically.
Very childish of a cartoon.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's she's shown to be quite childish in the way she acts sometimes, and she's sitting down watching cartoons while eating cereal.
Well, she literally was, yeah. So, yeah.
That's what I mean. So she does act as a child, so you'd understand some of the things that she does is quite childish, colourful ways of attacking and glitter, instead of just getting a shotgun and shooting everyone she can see.
Yeah.
She's more creative, more like a child. Then in terms of sound like a child, but like a child. But yeah, things probably a lot more unique. Well, it's more like Deadpool, but still, it's colourful and it's a colourful Deadpool.
Yeah.
If Deadpool had glitter and had boots,
that sums editing up perfectly. To be fair,
it didn't look fucking ugly.
So we give us some. Have you thought? Has people thought of their favourite moments?
The cocaine scene.
Cocaine scene for you?
Yes.
Because,
I liked the way it zoomed in, but it was quite blurry.
Yeah.
The edges. Ooh, it's quite cool.
My favourite moment is actually quite close to yours. Mine's the bit at the start of the PlayStation when she's walking through the smoke. I mean, it's all the coloured smoke as she walks through. The bit that's obviously in the trailer.
Mm.
That I like that shot. I know they've done it. It's that's fucking God knows how many films that have done that same sort of shot. Kong's done it. Fucking they did it in Godzilla v Kong. Pretty much doing every fucking thing that's Warner Bros. Based. But I think, but I like the colouring they used for it, and it sort of matched her. And obviously, yeah, and obviously it started off this massive fucking fight scene, which is really cool, and eventually led to your cocaine scene. So
that's true. We're connected. And I actually I like the bit where the kids shut out a diamond.
I was gonna say I like the police scene where she's where you see all the glitter, smoke, and all that. But I'm also thinking about
original.
when Harley's just what would you rather do? Drink this or this option?
Oh, the knife. Drink the base of the laxatives, or basically have your guts cut open.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I do like the entrance into the police station with the smoke and all glitter. So I'm gonna go with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Basically like me.
Yeah.
And we all know Tom's least favourite one is where Kirby goes poof.
You can't kill Obi-Wan Kenobi! It's not fair!
Darn it.
Okay, so you wanna give a rating? I feel like I feel like we've given enough information to get across our thoughts, so I'll kick us off. Obviously, as I've stated, some characters were developed, which is a shame. I feel like a lot could have been done with some of the characters, like Canary. There's a lot they could do with that. I do still feel like they fucked up the Birds of Prey formations to an extent. Though it's interesting spin on obviously how they formed. There's not enough development to force this formation for me. Which is obviously something that could have been developed within the sequel, like they do with Age of Ultron when they actually developed Hawkeye as a character more. This is obviously something that could have been done in that, but the fact that, as I said, the movie didn't break even, obviously it didn't do well at the box office. Obviously, they haven't announced any plans regarding this, and obviously Harley's going to Suicide Squad now. It's very unlikely that anything more is going to come from this, essentially. Though I say I'm interested in if they do the series based on Canary on HBO, that'd be interesting. But I mean, again, the title situation of putting Birds of Prey at the front and center, but yet the whole movie they're not the front and center. It's Harley, the actual bit, the longest part of the fucking title. I still feel like it should just been a Harley Quinn movie. And okay, if they're gonna bring it could have just been next year the Birds of Prey joining, but it should have just been called maybe Harley Quinn, and then it may have brought in some more people, essentially. But other than those sort of things, obviously this missed opportunity and the fuck ups and whatnot, I still think it's really enjoyable. It is fun. And obviously, it's a good way of getting across the sort of female heroes or vigilantes or villains, whatever you want to call Harley and whatnot. It's basically it's a good way to get obviously the female perspective and narrative across a bit more, which obviously we're getting more in there with obviously Black Widow, and obviously we got with Captain Marvel, like that sort of situation. So
they did it a lot better than what Marvel did with we are the female Avengers in Endgame.
Well, you can't really call that a massive. It's just literally just there. Obviously, there's a scene. It wasn't. There's nothing to develop there. It's obviously just a night for people to look at it and go, okay, maybe we could see something from that in the future. Essentially, that's all that was. Whereas this is literally there to develop the Birds of Prey as a team of heroes, or heroines, I believe, is female.
That's better.
Heroes, which obviously this doesn't do for me. But other than these nitpicks, I say it's still a fun movie, and I want to give it a James rating to start off with here. So I'm going to say an 8.5 is where I would actually put it. But I'm going to, because the nitpicks and whatnot, I'm going to rent it down to an 8. If it wasn't for those, if it wasn't for those nitpicks, I could. If the development was on Birds of Prey a bit more better, I could let the fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi death slide, because I let the fucking Ares situation in Wonder Woman slide, and obviously still get that the high round. If the characters were developed, I feel like I could go for a 9, but for the underdevelopment, it goes down to an 8.
Okay.
I actually wrote that down before I forgot it yesterday. I was like, okay, Tom, write this down really quick.
How I see it is that I see it like, I think it depends more on how you like your perspective of the film as you're watching it. But I always saw it as like this was going to be Harley's film, and then in the background, anyways. That's how I first went into watching it. So for me, it wasn't that much of a disappointment. Like for them, for the Birds of Prey wise, so I always saw them as going to be like extra characters that they've used to like help move from the plot along, or show different perspectives of the plot. So for me, it wasn't that much of a like hindrance, and the fact that Harley was more the focus of the film definitely played to my like of being Harley. You know, she's one of my favorite DC characters. So obviously, I'm going to like this film more than other people would, because as you know me, I'm quite biased with stuff that I like.
Yep. Essentially, if they did this same situation with Captain Marvel as this secondary character of the movie, but yet she's like the full focus, she'd hate it. I get what you're saying.
Marvel, but yeah, so I probably enjoyed it more than you did slightly, because I think the other ones were a problem for me. The only thing that I like did kind of I think lowers my point a little bit is purely just because I would prefer more Harley like screen time. Like if anything, I saw more like the other ones being there as they've got too much screen time. I want more Harley. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
So
I'm not going
I've already put it on my average calculator just in case of Alex's rating. I was like, okay, she's definitely going to give it a 9. To be fair, when I first watched it, that's what I gave it. I didn't give a shit about obviously the whatnots, but obviously rewatching it a few times, obviously noticing the underdevelopment of the Birds of Prey is what slowed it over the time.
Yeah.
But visually, it's beautiful.
Yeah, visually, it's fucking outstanding. Cinematography is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
As it usually is with DC movies.
The humour is amazing as
Yeah.
well. The characterization of Harley is even better than in Suicide Squad. Like, I think in Suicide Squad, she was like pretty good Harley. This is when she becomes Harley, I think, in this film. It's when she solidifies herself as being that character. So the reason why it got the higher rating than...
Go on,
You
yawny
are.
boy.
Yeah, come on.
I'm waiting for Hayden to stop talking. Could be here all day.
Yeah, she can.
I thought it's a pretty decent movie. It's not up there, but it's still a decent movie. I enjoy Harley Quinn, especially after watching the Harley Quinn animated TV show.
That's fucking.
That's really
that's brilliant. That is.
That's really built up my like towards Harley. Like before, I just thought, oh, she's just the Joker's like partner.
I thought I was gonna say bitch or something then.
I was, but I stopped myself. So it's nice to see like how she's broke away from the Joker, and it's more of Harley being Harley. Like in Suicide Squad, it was she was just after Mr. J, but yeah, it's like that's over. This is who she is now. This is what we're going to be seeing a lot more. So I'm going to do a James rating as well. I'm going to give it a 3.5, round it up to a 7.
I can see you found maths.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, wait, is he going that low with it? He's so saying, hey, oh, I love these bits. I'm gonna give it a 4. I don't know why. I don't know why I average calculated that. I still put it through. I don't know why, because it's obvious what the scoring is. The scoring is literally a Chatter Cave. Well, sorry, it gives Birds of Prey and Harley Quinn. I can't be asked to fucking say the entire thing because it's a very long time. A Chatter Cave overall rating of 8 because I'm the middleman.
8.
Ta-da!
I'll shave my fucking balls for this.
It's not funny, no. You just do it once. It's not funny when you do it twice. So don't you dare fucking leave because you're gonna fuck up the entire layout again. So the Chatter Cave MVP award this week goes to Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie, because Hayden would murder us both if we didn't select this. But overall, she is obviously the standout of this movie. Yeah, we just knew, didn't we? I literally says it's stupid of me to ask, and you're like, yep. But yeah, obviously she's the standout of this movie. Literally, it should have been called Harley Quinn because it's all Harley, and Margot Robbie shines, giving us even more of the lunatic clown that we love and know from Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Agreed.
The runner-up, Hayden. Who's the runner-up?
Okay, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yep, Roman Sionis, the Black Mask, played by Ewan McGregor, or as Hayden says,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
is runner-up because he's obviously the only other sort of actually developed enough character in the movie, and as Hayden says,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, it sums it up. So, okay, this is my question today. I want you to actually let me finish before you actually try and answer. So, do you think the Birds of Prey deserve their own solo movie build-up, like, for example, Justice League? Because, obviously, at the end of the day, they are a major staple within this DC universe. Obviously, this is some ideas of what could have been before this movie happened. So, obviously, Batgirl movie. Obviously, she's a founding member of the Birds of Prey in the comics, so it feels strange I'm skipping her. And the fact that, obviously, it would have meant we got the Batgirl movie a lot sooner than we actually are getting it. So we are getting it still, but obviously it would have been already done and gone, so we would have actually been able to see it already. Because it was in the Canary movie, or TV series like this I'm about doing, which obviously would have been a good sort of way of introducing, obviously, Green Arrow, or minimum, the idea that Oliver Queen actually exists within this DC universe, since obviously they're actually connected. But obviously it would have been an interesting way then to develop Renee more, because she could have been in that film or series, since she has a history of Canary's mom. So it would have been obviously a good way of getting that information developed a bit more. And again, eventually lead her to getting into the Black Mask Club. So it could have been a way of building up to that. And obviously, Harley could have had a solo movie. As we've been saying, this really should have been just a Harley solo movie. Or they could have done the other option, which is Gotham City Sirens, and have this then, that maybe still have her join the Birds of Prey within the overall movie, but build up to the reason for her being involved with these characters. And obviously then the actual jump to the Birds of Prey film, which they still could have done the Huntress story within that, like they did with this. They still could have had that as like a subplot within that movie, because as I said, that was fine with this. And obviously, with this movie, then they would have had all the characters developed enough. Because you think about, like, for example, Avengers, probably the best example. All the characters were already developed enough to head into that film. The only ones that weren't was Hawkeye, who got developed in the later movie. Black Widow had a little bit of development in Iron Man 2, but she got development later on. So the most characters would have been developed. Even in Justice League, for example, obviously Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman already had their development heading into either versions of Justice League. And then if you look at Snyder's version, obviously Cyborg got his development within the movie. Flash got some development in the movie. Obviously Aquaman got a little bit, but he got a movie a year later, so it didn't matter. So with all that in mind, answer away.
Well, I'm going to say, I would definitely love to see the City of Sirens, because think about it, the plot of the Harley and Joker breaking up would be a good way to introduce basically Poison Ivy and Harley, because obviously we know that he's actually canon anyways. So we could see, cool to see that in the film. Also, it'd be quite cool to see who they get to play them. But I do like the idea of like the show being, or like the whole like Black Canary show introducing Oliver in some capacity. But that would be fun. I'm trying to think like who would play Oliver though.
I still say Charlie Hunnam. I really love the fan cast of him.
Honestly, I want just for the laurels. I want for the laurels. I want it to be Stephen Amell's cousin.
You still want Robbie Amell?
I want him
blonded up.
Yeah,
like he should have been as Fred in the Scooby-Doo movies.
Yes, definitely. But that would have been fun. Yeah, I definitely agree. I agree. And now you can take Alex's face off me so he disagrees.
I agree. Like, why are you using that?
Actually, that's quite. That one's dangerous. I'll use my letter opener instead.
Yeah, that's much better.
We're getting banned. Are we getting banned now?
Okay.
Actually, quite nice.
I
That
agree,
is.
to be honest. I think if they did it, like they could have done their own standalone movies, like with I can't remember the name because she was so insignificant in the film. The policewoman,
Renee.
Your character.
Yeah. Sorry, that is because every time we watch a movie, we give each other a character. So playing Hayden's injustice of blaming me as the character.
Sticky said, whoever's the least favourite character would put as Alex.
Or if there's that one, that's me as well. Of my friend group, guys.
And it is an old man we say it's James.
Yep. But yeah, I think if they did their own standalone movies, like if Renee had her own like build up and like her own movie, like,
I don't think she'd work as her own movie. I feel like she'd work as a subplot within another movie.
Well, but that still would help towards it. Like if they did that with the Huntress one. If the Huntress had her own movie, like you could see her working towards killing everyone, her training up to be the Huntress, and then you could have Renee trying to figure out like who the crossbow killer, aka the Huntress, was, and then that builds up two characters, and then you can see them like their chemistry as rivals, or not rivals, enemies. So it's that, and then there's also the Black Canary, where we could have a like you said with a TV show, where they build her up, because you don't get to see much of a backstory with her, neither would the other two, apart from Huntress. So it'd be good to see the Black Canary's backstory with her mother, maybe even with her mother being the lead role, and then with Black Canary growing up, like trying to learn her lineage.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and then like all that, then into the one. But I also would have liked to see the Gotham Sirens as well, because that would have been nice. Because who doesn't like a bad guy show? Well, no, not bad guy, is it? You can't really call Poison Ivy a bad guy, really. She's just trying to save the planet.
Have you seen Batman and Robin?
That's a bad film.
Oh, my mistake.
Yeah, she's just trying to save the planet.
No, where's Captain Corbin?
Just need some tube instead. That's my answer to your question.
Everybody, please.
So basically, you both agree with the whole build-up to an actual team-up movie rather than just rush them in and expect them all to be developed within 2 hours. Sorry, an hour 40.
If they did this, they could have just got rid of Harley Quinn. Like, I know Harley Quinn could have had her own movie. It would have been
separated it.
But if Birds of Prey had their own movie, that could have been just all done to build up for them. It could have been a 3-side story building up to one climax of them joining as a team to defeat the one bad guy.
And scissoring, okay. Okay, I feel that covers everything we need to cover. So yeah, that's it for Chatco Podcast this week. Alex, you get a rest. We don't see you now for a good while. Because me and Hayden are moving on to the last of the currently released DC movies, which is sadly let down. That is Wonder Woman 1984, was it? 6? I don't know. I just got let down by that movie.
The one with the rape scene.
Yeah.
Such
a letdown that movie is. I can't wait to just be let down while talking about it. And Hayden hasn't even seen it, so I can't wait to see her reaction to it.
Yeah, because I loved the first Wonder Woman. And then hearing all the bad stuff about this one like makes me not want to watch it.
Yep. Anyway, thanks for joining us, Alex.
No problem. Thank you, Tom.
And we'll never see him again.
If you have your way.
Yeah, I've been your host, Drinking Thomas Hughes, as usual, 50th time.
I've been your abuser.
Hayden, yep. And this has been Chatter Cave Podcast. And, you know, I feel let down by the movie's ending, like the after the credit bit, because it didn't get to finish off its statement. So for people out there to actually finish off what she was saying, Batman's identity is